Hi guys. I'm trying to invite my co-host on here. So just give me a sec. And we are about to get started in like 5 minutes. And we are connecting.
Hey, lady, how are
Hey.
you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. The volume's up. All right.
Great, great. We have
Okay.
been trying to plan this for a minute.
Yeah. We getting it together. We are getting it
Yes.
together. Hey Renee, how are you? See, I splashed on a little makeup today. You feel
Mm-hmm.
feel like a little something. All right, let me get position here.
I was
Um,
trying to get comfy.
huh?
Let's see.
Thank you. Okay. All right,
Hello,
so
good people.
we are live. I'm gonna do a formal introduction for those of you who are just joining us. This is our tax lien and tax deed investing conversation today, right? We just
Yes.
chatting it up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is Miss Tiffany. Okay, she is a tax lien expert. Okay, and she invests in Georgia.
I invest in everywhere I can get a good deal.
Everywhere
Yes.
she could get a good deal. Okay. So we're about to get into our conversation shortly. I'm gonna go ahead and share this link.
She froze on me. Mhm.
I'm excited. Okay,
I
so
am too.
I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, guys, my name is Tiffany Tayus, and I am the tax sale expert. And basically, I specialize in assisting individuals purchase real estate and make money on the courthouse stairs. And I've been doing this for quite some time. I actually kind of stumbled into it by just purchasing real estate in, I would say, in basically the hood. My first purchases were in Detroit, and this was back in 2008. I purchased three properties. All of them together in a bundle was $500. And they were vacant properties, and this was before everyone started getting into real estate like it is right now. And so I had to, the thing about Detroit in that particular situation, I had to get the properties up to par, get it where someone could live in the property and all of that. And I said, well, okay. I said, well, first thing I wanted to do was get insurance on the property, right? But once I started calling around to different insurance companies, they were saying that you cannot put insurance on the property unless someone lives in the property. And the agent will come out to the property to make sure someone lives there before they actually put insurance on it, because there was a lot of insurance fraud cases and claims that were
Mhm.
going on up there. So,
Interesting. Okay.
the way my pockets were set up at that time, I was unable to rehab the properties. And so I lost the properties back to the city. But that was the first bug, the first situation that I got into where I learned that I can purchase real estate without having a mortgage. I can purchase a real estate without having debt. You understand? Because it seemed like growing up, that was the only way that we were taught to purchase real estate.
Mhm.
And there are so many different other options that's available to us. And like I said, I stumbled into it. And without knowing, stumbling into it, I would have got a mortgage just like everyone else, like I was taught. Just get a mortgage, get a good job, get a mortgage, and take 30 years to pay it off.
Mhm.
But tax liens and tax deeds, once I started doing that, I've never had a mortgage. And I don't think I actually can, but I think I will be able to one day. But that's me and my story about how I got set up with the tax liens and tax deeds.
That is so
So,
awesome.
how did you get set up with them, lady? How did you learn about tax liens and deeds?
Okay, so I learned about tax deeds because okay, so I was doing real estate investing with my older brother. My older brother is a full-time wholesaler and he does fix and flips and renovations. So he's like the real estate dude. He keeps telling me like, Antoinette, you should get into real estate. You should get into real estate. And I'm just like, I don't really want to get into real estate. So finally, I'm like, all right, I'm getting into real estate. So for like 3 years, he was like grooming me, and basically, I was doing all of his leg work as far as like doing the mailers and looking for deals and running numbers. And so I was doing
Right.
all of this stuff for wholesaling. And we have a group here in Tampa called Flip Savage, and it's a group of real estate investors. So one
Okay.
day there was a young lady who was talking about her land deals, and she mentioned that she finds some of her land deals in tax deed auction, and she just kind of glazed past it, just skated right on past it. She's like, yeah, I found some of them in tax deed. And I was like, what is tax deed? So I literally went to Google and I was
Hmm.
like, tax deed auctions in Florida, and I stumbled upon Real Auction, and I created an account. I'm just like, all right, cool. I can see calendar. Okay, let me sign up, and I signed up, and
Hmm.
my mind was blown. I was like, wait a minute. There are counties on here. They're having auctions weekly, monthly, with like 100 and some, sometimes like 50, 60, 100 and some properties, 200 some properties. And the opening bids are like $500, $700, $1,000. I was like, wait a minute. So I was
Right.
like, you can buy property like this? So I talked to my brother, and he's like, man, I don't, that's not really my thing. My thing is wholesaling. So he was like, I don't think you should do that. I think you should focus on what we got going on and
Right.
keep doing the wholesaling. You're going to get a deal. So I was like, man, I really think I want to try this. So against his advice, I watched the auctions for like 3 months, and
Hmm.
then I already knew how to like analyze the deals and analyze the numbers and stuff because I was doing it for him already. And I was like, the basis is you get the property under market value and then you sell it for market value. So I was looking to get a land deal because it was honestly more affordable for me. So
Correct.
everybody else around me is like doing houses and stuff and full on renovations. And actually during the time we had just bought our mama house. So I was actually doing project management and renovating her house. So I was the one picking the fixtures, dealing with the contractors and everything. So um I was like, okay, well, I want to get a deal for myself and what I have
Hmm.
in my bank account. This is what I can afford. So I bought my first property for $7,500, and it was a land deal. And I was like, I won it. So the other properties I was bidding on, I didn't win them. So I won this one. And I was like, oh my God, okay, what's next? So then I told my brother, like, hey, I want to auction. He was like, for real? And I said, yeah, I bought it for 7,500. He said, wait a minute, you bought property for $7,500? So what you gonna do with it? I was like, I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna flip it. And so he was like, all right, so what's the value? I said, about 25,000. He was like, wait a minute. So he said, so what you gonna list it at? I said, I think I'll list it at 23. And he was like, go for it. So
Hmm.
I listed, I put it up on Craigslist and all the different places. I put a for sale sign up in front of it, and a for sale sign is what sold the property. Somebody in the neighborhood ended up driving past. He was like, hey, he lives with his uncle. He wants to buy the property. He has a shed. He's trying to move on there. So when I bought the land, it was overgrown. This is a picture actually of one of the lots that I bought.
Okay.
Okay. I should have had like a before and after because really the trees were taller, like the brush was taller
Hmm.
than me, taller than my husband, and he's like 6'4". So, and the same thing with this. So I had someone come and clear it out so I could get like a nice visual. There was a lot of trash there. Somebody had been squatting there, but we got that all cleared out, and I ended up selling it, doing a seller finance deal with $10,000 down, and the buyer legit came with $10,000 in a Ziploc bag to the bank, and I was like, okay. He looks at me, he goes, I don't trust banks, and I was like, word, okay.
Clearly.
So I put $10,000 down, and then we did deal where he was paying it off for the next 2 years, and I created a stream of income, residual income during COVID,
Okay.
and I got back from my initial investment, so I put it right back into another property, and I was like, that was the bug. That was it. Once I did it once, I was like, rinse and repeat, baby.
That's beautiful, beautiful. And so, how
Yeah.
many properties? How long have you been doing it?
For about, now we're running up on like 3 years because COVID.
Okay.
Okay, so how old is COVID? How old is COVID? COVID is like 2 years old. It's like
Almost. Yeah.
it's almost 2 years. Okay, so then yeah, okay, so it's been about 2 years where I made my first deal where I used my money.
Hmm.
It's been about 2 years. I was doing other deals where I was finding the deals and kind of just, like bird dogging and like, okay, so if I find this
Right.
deal and I'm a buyer, that kind of thing. But my first deal, like 2 years.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Renee, just answer. Can you see the questions on the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I'm gonna just answer Renee. I've never purchased in Vero Beach. Have you, Tiffany?
No, I've never purchased in Vero Beach. Honestly, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, we've never purchased in Vero Beach.
Mm-mm.
Some of the things that I try to look for with my land deals is obviously affordability. And like, for example, when I was trying to get into Palm Coast,
Mm-hmm.
great area, great area. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Palm Coast, but
I'm not.
are you familiar with Palm Beach, Florida?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where NASA is, like
Yes.
that
Mm-hmm.
you can't. Okay. So it's around that area,
Mm-hmm.
and um, basically, fans for NASA and stuff, they'll go there. But then they're
Correct.
also developing the Palm Coast on the beach area. So there are a lot of vacant lots there that are
Okay.
being sold. But let me tell you something. The first auction that I went to was like, okay, I can do this. And it's like as soon as somebody catches a whiff that, something is
Yes.
percolating, everybody floods in. So then the next auction, I missed the first auction, but I watched it. I was like, okay. So by the time I got into the second auction, baby, they was running them numbers up.
Uh,
I was like,
running.
oh.
I know, and I've noticed that that's what they're doing now. It's like the popular areas, they're gonna run them numbers all the way up, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
I try to get around them and go somewhere else. I like
Mm-hmm.
let me go to the other areas, you know.
Yeah. So what counties, okay, so what state are you in? And what counties or states do you typically buy in?
Well, I'm
And
I'm in Atlanta.
sorry, this is for the out of people ask me a lot of questions regarding
Correct.
like, do I in this area, that area. So this is my first time, well, actually my second time talking to someone who's doing like tax deeds and tax liens in a different state. So go ahead.
Okay, so I actually reside in Atlanta, Georgia, but um I purchase mostly out of state. I purchase
Okay.
in Missouri, which is a very, very easy state to purchase in. I purchase in Missouri. I also have tax liens in Louisiana, and I also have property that I purchase over the counter in Tennessee. And
Nice.
so it's like I try to get deals, but I try to get deals that best fits my end goal, because that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand is that
Mhm.
you have to have an end goal in place. You have to know what you're gonna do with the property before you even get it. You understand? So it's like in St. Louis, their year of redemption is prior to the sale. So a year prior to the sale, their redemption period, they can pay their taxes all the way up until the day of the sale, that very morning. But once it's actually sold, then whoever the highest bidder is, they get that particular property. They file the
Mhm.
paperwork, they do their confirmation through the courts, and technically the property is yours. And so
Mhm.
that's been the best state that I've been able to acquire real estate and land in.
Mhm.
That was the first state I ever purchased anything in. And like yourself, I used to go to the auctions just to see, because once I stumbled across it, I was like, let me see if this really real. And I used to live in St. Louis, and so my parents are there. And I said, well, I'll go up there and visit them and go to the tax sale at the same time, right? So I'm at the tax sale, and honestly, y'all, it was probably a good handful of us at those tax sales, and they were
Hmm.
selling billboards for $900.
Uh-oh, your volume went out. Hold on, can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah, I
now
can
it's
hear
back.
you. And so
Okay.
they were selling billboards for like $900. And I was like, hold on, I have $900. I want to buy a billboard. Do y'all have any more billboards for sale
Real.
for
That's
$900? Those
income. Oh, volume went out again.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
guys. I keep getting phone calls. And they were
Oh,
selling houses for like $800, $900. And I was like, hold up, wait a minute. And so I finally worked up the nerve to actually buy. I was catching Megabus up to St. Louis with a couple
mm,
of paychecks, and I started buying real estate there. But St. Louis, Missouri is my number one place where I purchase. I also Louisiana and Tennessee. I'm planning to come to Florida, and currently we're about to attend a tax sale in Chicago. So we're gonna see if we can get something in Illinois.
okay. I want to answer some of these questions real quick. So,
Mhm.
and I have a lot of people that are joining us today. Unique, I've seen you here before. How are you? Do you guys worry about tax back up on the properties before getting in the auctions? So, tax deed and tax lien auctions are actually the back taxes. So,
Yep.
once you pay the back taxes, that's what you're doing. You're buying the property by paying the delinquent property taxes, okay? So the answer to the question is no, because we're paying the taxes, okay? Um, and then can you guys give a process on how to get started, please? I did not even know billboards count. You know what? In Florida, I cannot say that I ever ran into a billboard being auctioned. However,
Mhm.
I have run into an entire apartment complex being auctioned, and it was a nice apartment complex. Not to mention, it sold for like, I think it sold for around $1.3 million, and it was
Wow.
at 3 to 4 million, maybe even 7 when I looked up the numbers. But I
Right.
was like, an apartment complex was auctioned due to back taxes. Like like how
Like,
does that
like
even
what
happen?
happened? Like what happened?
Yeah. So that was really surprising when I
Hmm.
saw that. So, and even hearing you say it like billboards, I'm like, man, let me find a billboard. Hey, Monica. Um, and Tavares, hey, how are you, Tavares? I'm glad you're here. Tavares is man, he's mega heavy. If I could get you on my channel, we can do a lot together. In the
Oh,
world and space of business funding, okay, and business credit. I talk about business credit all the time on my channel, and Tavares is somebody that you want to know and you want to talk to.
okay.
And then we have another question from I am Shannon. Can we talk? Can you talk a little bit uh, about the process before and the process after auctions? So I'm gonna let you go first because I want you to kind of
Yes.
give that that more states overview, and then I'll talk about the process for Florida.
Okay, so let's say for Georgia, I've assisted quite a few individuals purchase here in Georgia. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, the process is that you go into a tax deed auction, right? And you're going to get your list, and some counties require you to register prior to the sale, at least like a week or so prior, but other counties, they you don't have to register at all, and you just go up the day of the sale and just sign your you don't even have to fill out any paperwork depending on the county. So all counties operate differently, but the basis is that once you're the highest bidder at the sale, what's going to happen is they're going to take your information and you have to have your funds paid by that day, and that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be cash or certified funds. Now,
Mm-hmm.
with Georgia, you have a 1 year redemption period, which means you have to give the property owner a year to redeem that property. And the interest on that is 20% interest. So when they come to redeem, they're going to redeem with the money that you pay plus 20% on top of what you paid. So that's basically the way you make money through tax sales. You understand? Purchasing tax deeds through tax sales if they redeem. Now, if they don't redeem, what you have to do, that you're giving them a year and a day. If they don't redeem within that year and that day, you basically have to file with the courts. You're going to file the paperwork to bar their right of redemption. So you have to
Mhm.
bar it. Even though they haven't came, you still have to file the paperwork to not allow them to be able to come back and say, hey, this is my property, I want to go ahead on and pay you. But you have to bar their right of redemption. And with your attorney, you start doing the process to where you can get they're going to go ahead on and transfer that to a clean title to you. That is for Georgia.
Okay, so I want you guys to pay really close attention, okay? And this is really honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation with you, Tiffany,
Mm-hmm.
because when I say that the process is very different per state and per county, like I mean that,
Yes.
okay? So, in Georgia, as she mentioned, they have a year to redeem their property. In
Mm-hmm.
Florida, once a tax lien is sold, because Florida is a hybrid state, so Florida does tax liens and tax deeds. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So when someone sells, excuse me, when a tax lien is sold, the person has 3 years to redeem their property. Okay. So that means that by the time that lien gets to be a tax deed, 3 years has passed since that owner has paid their property taxes. So once the tax deed is sold, you are now the owner of the property, and you don't need to, they're going to send you the deed in the mail. So the thing that holds up Florida tax deed properties is that you either have to put it through quiet title or get some sort of certification that the owner was properly notified that their property was being sold. So here's the kicker. In some counties, they're organized and they have like literally all of the case documents, all of the certified mailing receipts. And you can see right there whether or not it'll say, yes, this person signed for this, X, Y, and
Right.
Z. In other counties, it's not like that. So technically, you're not supposed to sell a tax deed property, or they won't insure your title through a title company for at least 4 years after you purchase the property.
Okay.
So that's why you have to either go through like a quiet title or get a certification, so that a title company will insure your title.
Wow.
So they
Uh,
actually like, then when you're bidding, when you're going to the auction, most Florida auctions, excuse me, I want to say like a good 80%, more like 90% of them are online. So you
correct.
can go to the realauctionsite.com, and that holds like most of the counties. Now, Broward County, I will say Broward County has site, and then there are still some smaller counties that will host their auctions in person, but the rest of them
Mm-hmm.
are online. So you literally just have to make sure that you have an account, and you need to make sure that you have your deposit in the account before the auction date. And you can do the deposits via like ACH or wire transfer.
Right.
For me, just wire transfer the funds wherever I want them to go, because I'm not going to be driving to a bunch of different counties to make sure that the funds are deposited in person. So you just show up the day of the auction, you bid, you can literally see the numbers changing on
Right.
online. So you can actually put in proxy bids as well, so that you don't actually have to be there to bid on the property. And then once you win the property, you have 24 hours to give them funds either via wire transfer, or you have to pay in person on the counter, over the
That's
counter.
that's
And then
pretty cool. Now, I've heard that as soon as you purchase a lien that or a deed there, that you can sell it. Is that accurate?
okay, so as soon as you purchase a deed, you are now the owner. And that's exactly what I do. My turnaround time for properties is on average like a good 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it really just depends on what I have to do with the property and the process that I have to take to clear
The
the title.
title.
I don't
Right.
always do title companies. That's the thing. So a lot of my deals I'm doing for sale by owner, and I'm able to give them title searches and proof that there are no liens and no violations, and we do the cash deal, and we sign the paperwork and make sure that it gets filed in public records, and bada bing bada boom.
Okay. So have you purchased any properties for yourself, real estate, homes?
I haven't kept any of the properties that I have purchased.
Okay.
So not right now because I'm building capital. So my goal with this land deal strategy that I'm working is to build capital so that I can buy bigger real estate. But right
Correct.
now, honestly, like the ROI on land is real. It's great. I was like, well, I don't have to reinvent the wheel because I can
Right.
get the land for like pretty much little to nothing. And the thing is, of course, like people are going to be more aggressive when it comes to homes in the tax deed auction. So I don't even really look at homes in the tax deed auctions. I'm mainly looking for those parcels of land.
Definitely, definitely. And that is a great strategy because a lot of people tend to steer away from land. A lot of people don't even want to touch land at all. And I
Hmm.
hear it all the time, you know what I'm saying? Um, so with is Florida the only place that you've bidded in?
Yes.
Okay.
So Florida is the only place that I've been in. I'm actually in joining Detroit now. Michigan. So I'm looking in Michigan and I was looking in Georgia as well. So I'm kind of branching out. But honestly, Florida has so many properties that it keeps me really busy. It's not that like literally my calendar, I have all of my counties like lined up.
Right.
Um, Trying to see, where I can go. Because of course there are a bunch of properties that I would like to get, but I don't win all of my bids.
Correct.
So my goal is to have a certain amount of properties at a time. And if there is money in my account, that means I need to go out and find a property because if my
Correct.
money's in my account, I'm not making any money on the money that's in the account. So
Correct.
um, I'm gonna pause real quick because there's a lot of questions coming in. I just want to touch on those really quickly. So I am in Tampa, Demetrius, and Tiffany is in Atlanta,
Atlanta.
Georgia.
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what about Wisconsin? You got to give me some context, guys. Uh,
Yeah.
you want
I've
to know
never.
if it's a deed or a
Yeah.
tax lien state? You can find that on Google. Literally, you can just Google your state and see if it's a tax deed or a tax lien state. I also have videos on
Mm-hmm.
my page that has like the map of it, so you can look it up either on my page or in Google. Is this information useful on a foreclosure? Um, I want to say yes because,
It.
like for example, in Florida on the real auction site, it's
Yes.
actually foreclosures and tax deeds.
Yes.
So, and tax liens. It's tax liens and foreclosures. So, the basic principle of real estate investing where you're buying low to sell high absolutely applies to foreclosures, right?
Definitely. Definitely, because even at the tax sales that I go to in person, on one side of the stairs they're having the auction for tax sales, whether it's the tax liens or tax deed, and on the other side they're having the mortgage foreclosures, and so it's all at the same time. And so it's like sometimes when you your first time on the stairs, you don't know what's going on, what is what, where I need to be. You kind of like, that's why you should go early so you can start asking
Yeah.
questions, know where you need to be out there. But definitely it applies for mortgage foreclosures as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need queen. So you have to wait 3+ years to sell your tax deed property after getting it. Um, well, I think I answered this question because I see you wrote, oh, okay. And then how do you know which county is good? I am Shannon. Um, Really, it has to do with how familiar you are with certain areas. You can
Correct.
also kind of like go on Zillow and kind of look at some hot spots. Look
Mm-hmm.
at what's selling a lot. So, really one of the things that I do is I'm looking to see where the hot spots are and where they're developing, where they're doing new development. What cities are being developed the most? Florida is one of the top 3 states for new development in terms of in the nation. So it's Texas, Florida, and then Arizona that are the top 3 states for new development homes for single family residential homes being built. Texas, Florida,
And
Arizona, in that order.
that's definitely good to know. Good to know. Because I know I've been thinking about Texas as well. I've been hearing very good things about Texas.
I actually just booked the ticket to Texas, Austin, Texas. So I'm going to be going to Texas. Well, really, I'm going to see my family, but we're definitely
Yeah,
gonna be doing some scouting while I'm out there. You
is
know,
they have theirs the first Tuesday of every month as well.
first, so you guys hear that? If you're in Texas,
Yes.
their the auctions are the first Tuesday of every month.
Yep.
Okay. Any advice for any advice after winning a bid on land? It really depends on your exit strategy. Like, what are
Yep.
you trying to do with it? Like, do you want to develop it? You can develop it. Is it somewhere where you can place a mobile home on it? You can put a mobile home on it. You can sell the land as is. You can
You can.
lease it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
You,
you got
you want to
options.
grow. You want to grow a garden. You want to put a tiny home on it, a container home on it.
Yep.
So it's like, what is your end goal? Because whenever you're purchasing real estate, you start off at the end. You
Hmm.
start off what you want to do with that particular real estate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how much money did it take for you to get started? Um, I had saved up $10,000. Now I know that sounds like a huge number. Um, that's what I had to get started. There are ways for you to get started for way less.
Yes.
The cheapest property that I have personally purchased is $1,300, and it was actually one of my biggest profits as well because I bought the property for $1,300 and I was able to sell the property for $28,000 just because of the area that it was in. It was in a really affluent neighborhood. I did pay like a good 7 to 8 grand to get it cleared. I had to pay some permitting fees, some other things. But at the end of the day, it was, I think, $18,000 on that deal by itself. Oh, I think we lost Tiffany, but I'll bring her back on. So it really just depends. And then if you're investing in tax liens, you can start off with even less. But just keep in mind, if you're buying a lien, you're gonna have to wait that redemption period until you can take direct ownership of the property. I'm a farmer looking to buy land and wanted to know if you see larger tracts of land in these auctions. Yeah, sometimes I do see larger tracts of land in the auctions. Now I will say it's fewer and far in between. It's not like, I'm not seeing it as frequently as smaller plots of land, but I do actually run into larger plots of land and typically they get blown out of the water when it comes to bidding because everybody wants the big plots. I haven't seen anything that's like 10 to 20 acres. Not in Florida. But there are some other websites that you can go to, like Land Watch or FloridaLandForSale.com, where you can possibly buy larger tracts of land and possibly do seller financing um, for that. Let me try to connect with her really quickly. How do you need an LLC to buy these? No, you don't need an. I think I brought you back, Tiffany. You don't
I
need an
got you.
LLC. Yeah, you're back on. You don't need an LLC to buy these. I started off just purchasing property in my name, and then afterwards, I developed my LLC, and eventually, I will develop a land trust. But you don't have to have everything in place to get started. Like ideally, yeah, it's nice. Really, the LLC is best for when it's a tax shelter, and so it's a land trust. So if you're going to be doing a lot of deals, yes, eventually you're going to want to have your business structured correctly. But if you do 1 or 2 deals like just in your name,
Correct.
and you just pay your regular taxes on them, like you'll be fine.
Correct.
Right.
And I noticed also, it's like, with one property, I was trying to get hard money on it, and it was in my own name, in my personal name, and they said, "Oh, well, you have to have it in an LLC in order for us to um, give you hard money." And I was like, "Okay." So then you transfer over to your LLC, but then
Mhm.
once you get everything done and you want to refinance the property with my personal bank, it's like, "Oh, well, it has to be in your personal name for us to refinance it for you." I was like, what is going on?
They are playing. And see, that's another thing. Like with now, when you purchase deals, you purchase land and homes, correct?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay, so one distinction I want to make is that typically for land for financing, it is difficult to get financing for just land deals. So you
Wow.
guys got to keep that in mind, because sometimes I'll have people ask me, well, do you get an appraisal? And it's like, no, you don't get an appraisal, because land is different, and it's they want for a structure to be on the land
Right.
before they give you financing for it. Or you can get a construction loan, basically like a new construction loan, saying, hey, I'm going to build this house, but you have to give them like basically plans, get with the developer and everything before they are able to um, give you a loan basically on just your land. Land can be used as a deposit though, or a down payment towards a new construction loan or towards a mobile home as well. And
Mm-hmm.
there are some financiers that work directly, like they specialize in this niche market. I know Century 21 is one of them. They do a lot of mobile homes in the Florida area, and mobile homes is a big thing. Well, I think they're big in Georgia too, but
Yes, they are.
um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, full and
Definitely.
manufactured homes. Yeah. So Century 21 does a lot of deals like that, where if you buy the land, then you can go and say, hey, I own this plot of land. Can I get financing for a manufactured mobile home, a manufactured home, mobile home, or a new construction line of credit to build a home?
Mm. That's good to know.
Yeah. So, and then LA Chronicles. Hey, how you doing? Okay, hold on. I think my phone's ringing. Okay, sorry. I had it on do not
Do
disturb.
not disturb.
Yeah. But that was my brother, my family members, they get through all the time. Um sorry, LA Chronicles, does the Florida tax lien go to tax deed sale regardless? Okay, so if you're one of the tax lien holders in Florida, you would have to pretty much be the first lien holder in order to basically submit for that property to go to tax deed auction.
Okay.
So if you're like the second or third, like basically the first lien holder would have to waive their right to basically take possession of the property, and therefore, so on, and then it would go to tax deed auction, where they're just going to sell it to try to get the funds back.
So basically, if they're the first lien position on that particular deed, they're the lien, they're holding that lien, and they take it to auction. That means if they're trying to convert it to a tax deed, they have to take it to a whole nother auction for other higher bidders and all of that as well.
No, okay, so basically the first lien holder can foreclose on the property so that they can take possession of it themselves, or
Okay.
or they can say, no, let it go to tax deed so that it can be just auctioned off as a tax deed, and then they'll get their percentage back out, which is basically I think it's 18% in Florida. It's either 18 or 20%. Um, but they'll basically get their initial investment plus interest back on it.
And so, if they wanted to actually get the property itself, if they're the lien holder, how would they do that?
They actually have to go through the court system to do foreclosure, like a
Okay.
traditional foreclosure process.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, some more questions. What is the website for the auctions? Okay, so in Florida, it is realauction.com. And then in Georgia, it's
In
on,
person.
yep,
It's
it's
in
in
person on the courthouse stairs. I also
person.
thought they had Lien Hub as well. So realauction.com and Lien Hub, because we were on Lien Hub before
Mhm.
as an auction site. It had a lot of Florida properties on there. Is that only for the liens? And is
Okay, so that's interesting. I've never seen Lien Hub before, so I'm gonna have to look into that, because I know that
yes.
Real Auction has a tax lien portion as well, where you can go in and buy the tax liens. To be honest, I don't really dabble in the tax liens, because I want to get the deed. I don't want to. I
Right.
don't have to wait to sell a property, but I'm gonna look into that to see,
Right.
what they're saying about that. What I noticed about the liens is that a lot of trust funds, or they'll say like they'll be named like retirement fund or trust fund
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So these big hedge funds, basically, they're like, okay, we want to grow our money in a secure environment outside of the stock market. They're
Correct.
investing in tax liens. So
Yes.
yeah. And I can't see this name, but Jamelda.
Yeah.
It says the question is what what do your credit score need to be at? Okay, so for these deals, they are mainly cash deals, okay, guys? So you guys are gonna have to save some money, get some money together, or start pooling some money. Maybe talk to some family members and position it to them. Like if you guys can pool money together. Now, if you have
Exactly.
a credit card that has a good limit on it, you guys can try to use like plastic. Plastic is
Mm-hmm.
a site that converts like credit cards. It pays bills for you, but you can also use it to convert your credit cards to cash. You want to be careful with that still as well to make sure like you're not paying any like cash advance fees, but that is one way. Some other people do it through like PayPal, where they'll
Mm-hmm.
invoice each other and then they'll be able to get the cash to pay for the real estate. So that's how you can leverage your credit to get into real estate investing. And this goes for like personal lines of credit and business lines of credit.
Correct.
You have to kind of go a little bit of a roundabout way, but as long as you can get the cash off of the card, then you'll be able to then use that cash to purchase tax deeds and tax liens. Okay, guys. And if you want to do wholesale, what should your credit be at? Well, really, wholesaling doesn't have anything to do with your credit.
Not at all. Also, guys, you guys do know, back to the other question, you do know income tax time is coming up, because, and so that's a nice lump of cash that you're getting at one time. And you can use those funds to actually start investing in real estate. You understand? Because that's really the only time back in the day that I used to get a nice little lump of cash. And sometimes we don't really have any plans of what we're going to do with it. Sometimes we catch our bills up and stuff like that. But this time, you can use that money to actually start investing in real estate, because of the fact it doesn't cost that much to actually start investing in liens or deeds, especially if you find the right county to go to, and just start small and you can build from there, you know?
Mhm. Okay, so chemotherapy, can you clarify the difference between tax liens and tax deeds? You want to take this one, Tiffany? We've
Um,
said it
ta-
before, but
yes. Okay, well, with tax liens is more of like a certificate that's going to put you in a first position, a first lien position, and it takes priority over all other liens. Now, here in Georgia, if your property is sold, or in St. Louis and different other states, if that particular property owner tries to sell the property, you're in first position to get paid. Anything happens with that property, you're in the first position to get paid. But with the tax deed, that deed itself, it is actually the deed to the property, and it's for the taxes. In some states, like in Florida, you're going to actually get that property immediately. In
Mhm.
Georgia, it's a redeemable state, so that deed does not transfer over into your name until the redemption period has passed and the property owner has basically defaulted on it, and you file the paperwork in court. So a lien is the first position, and a deed is the actual document. The tax deed itself is like ownership of the property.
Mhm. And guys, back taxes supersede pretty much everything outside of like HOA,
IRS. Right.
IRS. Yeah.
Right.
Um, so typically what happens, and you know what is a good question that I have gotten a lot. What happens if a home is in foreclosure? Can a home be in foreclosure and still be on the tax auction? In the state of Florida, that answer is no. Because a home with a mortgage means that they would be paying the taxes in escrow. So the taxes would not become defaulted or back taxes. And that's also the case for HOAs as well. If
Mm-hmm.
a home or property is in an HOA, typically they will pay the taxes on it, so that it's in, it's going to be up to par. And then the HOA and then the mortgage company would have the first right to foreclose on the property to sell it if that person defaults on either the HOA fees or the mortgage. So I get that question a lot. Usually, if a home is on the tax deed auction, that means that it's usually free and clear, and that's like 90% of the time.
Yeah,
Um,
because sometimes every now and then there is a mortgage that's on there. Because mortgages get sold a lot, guys. You to another company, and sometimes the new company have so many properties in the inventory, you get kind of lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But that is
yeah.
very rare, but it does happen every now and then. But she's very
Especially
correct.
if a person has taken out like a second mortgage on a
Yes.
property, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's not, yeah. So those things can exist, and that's why it's important to do your due diligence before you purchase
Yes.
property.
Yes.
Because you can find all of this information in public records, guys. Like you would be surprised. A lot of
Yep.
people ask me about title searches. Title searches are great. And if you have the money to do a title search before you actually own the property, kudos
Do
to
it.
you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
However, the way my bank account is set up, I do not want to pay for title searches. I search for a lot of properties, okay? I don't want to pay
Mm-hmm.
for title searches before I own the property. So I just search public records, and 9 times out of 10, I can find 90% of the stuff that I'm looking for just through searching public records.
Yes, and the information is free. Is available at your courthouse, and a lot of courthouses have that information online. Some of them are available free to you online, and other counties you actually have to pay a little fee, maybe for a one-time use or for a monthly use. But
Uh,
it's free information, and that's the thing about property and real estate. Everything pertaining to real estate is free information. You can get any information you need on real estate.
mm-hmm. This is very true, guys. So take note of that because a lot of times I'll say search public records. I actually posted a site today. I actually just found it today. To be honest, I was like, okay, well, when I tell you to go search public records, I get a lot of people saying, well, what do you mean search public records? I'm like,
Right.
search public records. So I actually found a site where it gives you all of the public record sites for all of the counties in the U.S. It's
Wow.
like publicrecords.net, netronline.com. I posted it. It's in my TikTok. Go to my TikTok page after this is done, and you'll literally see it's like the second post on the page after the pin post because I just posted it today, and it gives
Mhm.
you all of the county public record sites. So at least you can start there. Now, if
Mhm.
your county requires that you pay a little fee or register or whatever it is, y'all do the steps. Sometimes
Yeah.
people say, "Well, what if they call? What if what if I have to pay?" Well, then pay it.
Pay
It costs.
it. Pay it. Right.
Costs. We'll register. Like
You
I
have to
can't.
do that. That's the only way you're gonna get it. You have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Tiffany, no, did anyone walk you through this process when you
No,
first?
no.
No.
I had to figure it out on my own. And it
Mhm.
does require you. Sometimes, I'm on my laptop all night long. Sometimes I'm researching all night. And you're walking inside of businesses, you're walking into the courthouse, you're asking questions, and that's the only way you're really going to know. And honestly, Antoinette, I thought I was like a unicorn out here. I thought I was a unicorn out here with these tax sales until my
Uh-huh.
brother.
Ooh, hold on. My battery is low. I'm gonna run real quick and get my charger. Your
Yeah.
volume went too. Hold on. That thing gave me the 5% warning.
Right. So look, guys, my brother told me about this guy named Mark Whitten. He was on the Breakfast Club, and I was listening, and he's like, "Hey, this guy named Mark Whitten, you should check him out on the Breakfast Club. He's doing the same stuff that you're doing and stuff like that." And I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." And so when I checked him out, I was like, "Okay, he really is doing what I'm doing. He is basically getting properties, renovating, and putting renters in it, or owner financing, selling some properties." I said, "Okay, this is my type of crowd that I need to be around." And so once I start doing YouTube and all the other stuff, it's like I see a whole bunch of us is out here doing real estate. We all just playing in our own particular little lane.
Mm-hmm.
My lane is tax sales. So is Antoinette's. Her lane is tax sales. But she does it with land. And I'm doing it with land and properties. So you just have to figure out which particular lane best fits you, but you have to start it. You understand? You have to start. Like Antoinette said, they say to pay the fees, pay the fees. Got to register, go register. They say you got to show up, let's show up. Go through whatever hoops whatever the rules are, follow the rules so you can go on and get you some real estate.
Yeah. I will say that I heard you talking about it a little bit. I had to run into the bedroom to get my charger, but yeah, guys, they're not gonna hand you this information on a silver platter, nicely wrapped with a bow. Okay, there is so
Oh no.
much money
Oh no.
to be made. Um, Through tax liens and tax deeds. And what I noticed when I was searching the internet is it's not a lot of people that look like us. Now, mind you, now I'm
Correct.
finding the niche of people. I'm like, oh yeah, my people. Like, hey, you doing something? I'm
Right.
like,
Like this
oh,
my crowd, this my tribe.
right. Yeah, so but they're not gonna hand you the information
No.
just nicely wrapped, you know. And even when I heard about this strategy, I heard about it from another real estate investor. And it's not like she gave me a sit down and told me, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like I literally had to just go Google, start looking some stuff up, and then take a leap.
Yep.
So
You have to.
yeah, you
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 have
got to
to.
you have to do the work. Like no one's gonna hold your hand for you. And the information, I realize that when you can, people will say how. They ask this question all the time. How? And I'm like, through tax deeds. Yeah, but how? Through buying properties through the tax deed auction. And that's still like Greek to them. They're like, but how? And I'm like, you know what? It's kind of like if you ask someone, how do I build a rocket to go into space? How do I build a spaceship? And the person says, well, all you have to do is, and they give you the exact instructions. You still gonna be looking at them like,
How? Yeah, they're like,
so that's part of the reason why I started talking about it more, and people have been asking for courses and ebooks. What products do you have, Tiffany? Let me let you go talk about your products.
well, currently, of course, I have consultations,
Mm-hmm.
and I have an ebook that will be dropping on November the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after that, I will have a course that's available as well.
Nice, nice. And then
Yes.
what you said something this morning about a text.
Yes, text five, text the word
Yeah.
five. So this, so I have a free download, and that's a checklist of the 5 pitfalls to avoid when
Uh-huh.
you're attending a tax sale, because there are some of the most common mistakes that people make when
Mm-hmm.
attending a tax sale, especially for like the first time, and they only hear about it, and the next thing you know, they out there bidding. Oh, I don't know what I got, but I paid $1,000 for it. Like, what do you mean you don't know what you got? No, you're supposed to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's what I also offer is a free download. It's a checklist for the 5 pitfalls to avoid when attending a tax sale, and you can get that free download by texting the word FIVE to 404-975-1087.
Okay, guys, I hope y'all got that information. I heard you talk about it, and I was like, oh, I should have something like that.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I was like, the text thing is super. I'm still working on my system. So,
Yeah.
my next live tax deed investing class is going to be October 27th, and that's where I'm gonna basically literally tell you my exact strategy, my exact resources, exactly what I did and how I do it, and how I'm able to buy these properties and sell them. And literally, you're getting step by step. So, the next live class is October 27th. And then I have an on demand class that's available anytime for you guys who cannot make the live class. That one does not come with the ebook. I do have an at home study guide that you get with the live class. So that one doesn't come with the ebook. However, I will be adding some extra modules to that one to encompass some of these conversations that we're having,
Yes.
to just kind of give you guys a more complete view of what tax lien and tax deed investing consists of, especially for if you are out of the state of like Florida or Georgia.
Correct.
Because I've been doing a lot of research. Because as I'm getting into other markets, I'm like, Man, so this is a little okay. This is a little different. So I'm like, y'all want me to go to the courthouse, man? I like being on my property, sitting at home in my pajamas with my coffee in my hand. Okay,
Right.
just like fueled up on caffeine, and it's such like an adrenaline rush because you're like, all right, I really want to get this property.
And then I'm listening to you, and you like, oh well, we have to have the money paid in 24 hours. I'm like, 24 hours? What? We
Mhm.
have to have it paid the same day. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you need to come back before the close of business.
Hmm. I had a conversation with two gentlemen, and they have a podcast called "Where's George? Where is George?" podcast, and we had it's two. I don't want to say black dudes. It's two black dudes. I was trying to think of like the politically correct word.
Two
Two
African
black
American guys.
African American guys who invest in tax liens and tax deeds in Georgia and Illinois. And one
Okay.
of the things they mentioned that was really interesting is that in Illinois, it used to be in person, but due to COVID, they switched it over to a silent auction kind of deal where you have to submit your auction written down like the day before the auction, and they give you a certain of time to submit your written offer, and then basically once the time is up, then they will say who won the auction, and that's their new system for selling tax deed properties. And I was like, what? Ew. He was
No.
like, I absolutely hate it, because honestly, like, there's a lot of room for error there. If you know somebody's like, hey, let me know what the high bid is, I'll pay you,
Right.
he was mentioning how much he hated that. And then another thing that he mentioned was all of the properties start off at like 700 and I want to say 50, $780. That's all of the properties. No matter what the back taxes are, they have a set price. And I was like, what?
So
Go ahead.
what county is that in Illinois? Because I'm going to Chicago, and this is Cook County, Illinois. They're having it to where you it's an online auction, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to actually be there to place your bid online at their computers, at their location, at their courthouse. You have to have collateral. That collateral has to be in place by the 26th of October, and it has to be 150% of what you're planning to bid, and they're going to hold on to your collateral until after the auction is over, and your bid amount, the amount that you bid, cannot come out of your collateral. So you have to have that money separate. Do you
Mm-mm.
understand what I'm saying? And
Mm-mm.
the list, the
If you
the
broke, then
tax
don't say that. I
the
like
tax
that.
sale list, listen, the tax sale list costs $250, and it's over 700, it's like 770 pages of properties. 770 pages.
Y'all hear that? That's crazy. In Florida,
700.
it's 5% of your max bid. Okay, 5% of your max bid. That is your deposit amount. And I know that it's different per county, but that's crazy. They sound like they just trying to borrow people's money.
And
Um,
play with it, right? And they said you get your collateral. They said you're going to get your collateral back within a reasonable amount of time.
they
But
only be the time frame. No, no, no. You gonna have to give me. I need to know because I need to move this
a,
money. Like, what
a
you talking about?
reasonable amount of time. My reasonable amount of time is 48 hours. Theirs could be 2 weeks, 30 days.
I will say certain counties, like when I make deposits, certain counties are mad slow. So if I ask for my deposit back, here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets me with these counties. You, they say to send your money either county, a counter deposit, ACH, or wire transfer.
Correct.
So I can send you my money expeditiously, but the only way you can send me my money back is via mail. All they do, they say they will send you your funds back via mail, and then sometimes they literally it can take up to a month to get your deposit funds back,
Right.
depending on the county. Some counties, as soon as you put in that refund request for your deposit, they'll send you your check and you'll have it like, 7 to 10 business days. 7 to 10 business
Right.
days. I'm good with 7 to 10 business
It's
days.
not bad.
But certain counties, they'll literally be holding your funds and will take their sweet time giving you your deposit back, which I'm like, that's just highly inconvenient, especially if
Yep.
you're in a situation where you're dealing with investor funds. It's like, okay, well, or private money funds. It's like, okay, well, I get you. We didn't win a bid, but I'm gonna send your money back when the county sends you your money back, which might be a month. Now you out here looking crazy in the streets.
Right. They're like, what is she doing with our money?
Right? So yeah, it can be really inconvenient like that. Guys, do you have any let me go down this list now because I saw that people were asking questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you take investment money? I don't have time to go to Florida. Yes, I do have private money investing terms. Please DM me so I can give you the rates. The live class is October 27th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Yes, the video will be recorded. Yes, you will have playback availability. This live will be recorded as well. And I'm probably going to be posting this on my YouTube channel, which is which
Beautiful.
is being which is being built. um, they are not making it easy for people to get these. No, they're not
No.
making it easy. But however, like listen, my favorite quote, there's not a shortage of money, there's a shortage of creativity. So,
Right.
they're not going to give it to you in your hand. They're not. But you can definitely still get it. You got to work for it. And it's kind of crazy. Like, we'll go to work for X amount of years, working 40 hours
Yes.
a week, and that's normal for us. But, just say, hey, you got to do a little bit of work. You might have to go to this courthouse on a certain day at this time. You might have to, and people be looking at you like you crazy. Like, what? No, I can't do that. That takes too much time. No, you just got to change your mindset.
Yes. Mindset.
hmm One comment, they're only making it available to people who have funds or corporations. This is very true. But don't be discouraged because real estate is a $1 trillion industry. And even
Yep.
if you got the crumbs, baby, you still making some money. Okay.
Yep.
So, um, Jake, go ahead and message me. we gonna talk. All right. Arbiella, hey Brooke, I'm gonna call you. We gonna talk as well. um, yeah, I'm just trying to go through the comments. Do you offer any services for businesses? Regarding what business credit? Again, uh, DM me. And I was thinking of moving money from one county to another. That's not happening. No. So here's the thing. Even though, like, for example, on realauction.com, it's the real auction site, but all of those counties are independent of each other. Meaning,
Yep.
because you deposit money in one county, that don't mean that there's money in another county. You're going to have to put a different set of money in another county. And they
Yep.
may have a completely different like amount for the minimum deposit. Maybe theirs is 3% plus $100 on every $1,000, which
Mm-hmm.
I've seen before. Some are just a flat 5%. So yes, all of these counties are independent of each other. All of these counties have different um, building codes and things of that nature. So that's why I said start off with one or two counties and get
Yep.
familiar with the counties, get familiar with the process so that you don't just be out here running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Like you got
Yep.
to get familiar with the process before you go jumping everywhere. And Tiffany, to answer your question, that's one of the reasons why I'm still in Florida because I've been in Pasco, Polk, Sarasota, Manatee, Marion County,
Mm-hmm.
Brevard County. I'm in a lot of counties. And those are just the ones that's off of the top of my head. But one of the things that I thought was interesting was I was going to go bid on a property, and it met most of my requirements.
Right.
And I called the county. I said, "Hey, is this lot buildable?" And this was actually Volusia County. Now that I remember,
Okay.
it was Volusia County. So yes, I'm in Orange County as well. Um, but yeah, so I was in Volusia County. I called, I see a vacant lot. I'm like, hey, is this lot buildable? What's the zoning? And the guy says, well, it could be buildable depending on whether or not it was ever owned by either one of its neighbors because it's a non conforming lot. And I was like, okay, so he was like, yeah, that's something specific to Volusia County. So there was a lot, and it was about 0.22 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Now in Florida, that's a pretty
Yeah.
good size for a buildable lot.
Right.
However, in Volusia County, they said, well, it would have to be at least a quarter of an acre to develop. However, it can still be developed depending on whether or not the neighbors just split it off and sold it illegally, which is interesting because I actually bought a lot. This lot behind me literally was a lot that way, way, way back in Methuselah days,
Right.
they split it off and they sold it when they weren't supposed to. And then this parcel, because they split it off and they sold it, so there was a big tract of land, right? And it was
Mm-hmm.
all divided. And then the owner of that land then subdivided that lot. But when they recorded the deed, they did not put in the easement that was originally there for the original tract because it was a big parcel of land and then they had a little
Mm-hmm.
dirt road going in. And when I tell you this parcel gave me so many problems. When I tell you I cried over this property so many times because I had to get all kind of survey specialists, I had to get all kind of attorneys involved because what I had to prove was that the easement was existing on the land before
Prior
and it
to. Right.
supposed to be there. And then once I proved all of that, then they were like, well, it's also in the green swamp. And girl, I just wanted to die. I was like, green swamp.
Like a green swamp. No.
In Florida, the green swamp is a portion of land that is important to Florida's underwater like aquifer system,
Right.
and it goes by a completely different set of rules. So once I figured out all the stuff about the easement, then it was like, yeah, but this is still in the green swamp. So then they were like, easement can't be granted through the green swamp. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I wanted to shake the people at the county. It took me a good 6 months to sell this parcel. It took me six
Wow.
months to sell this parcel because number one, it was super, super junky. Number two, there was
Right.
a lien on it. It was it wasn't even one of those parcels that you can get like a simple title search on because it was muddy. It was like it used to be a different parcel number and now it's this
Okay.
parcel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was a whole mess, but I'm gonna tell you something. I learned a lot about tax deed investing in land
Right.
in particular
For that
lots.
one. And
So
that's some of the things we go through with tax liens and tax deed is we're learning every single day, guys. There's something new that you're going to learn all the time when dealing with tax liens and tax deeds, but we won't know until we actually go through the process of it. We
yeah,
learn. I don't know everything. I know Antoinette probably can agree. It's like
yeah,
I learn something new every single day.
yep. We still, I want to say it's really like you're learning on the job, but I mean, experience is the best teacher. And
Yes, it
I would
is.
really encourage you guys, if you are thinking about getting into any of these markets, get with me, get with Tiffany, book a consultation, take a class, get the information that you need because we can only give you so much information. And you can piggyback off of our experiences so that you won't obviously make the same mistakes that we made to kind of shorten your learning curve. But it's still going to be some learning that you just gonna have to do on your own, and
Yep.
that's just what it is to be a real estate investor.
Yep.
So
Definitely.
yes, guys. Okay, so we're running up on 8 o'clock. Okay, so we had our conversation is from 7 to 8 tonight. Now I don't know if you have any other things to do, Tiffany, but I just wanted to kind of put a pause on here. Let me just see about these quick questions again. Do any luck in Brevard? Yes, Renee. I ended up purchasing a lot in Brevard, and Brevard was a tricky one because the lot that I purchased, they said was in the ghetto, and so a lot of people didn't want to buy it. And I was like, well, I didn't know. Here's one of the things when you're researching these properties. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't go see all these properties.
Right.
I don't.
It's hard to go see everything. It's exhausting.
Yeah. By the time you did your research on the computer, and you like, okay, so I don't got no liens. Then you like, now I gotta drive this thing, and it's 2.5 hours away. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Not doing it. Google Map, what's up? Show me what's happening.
But right. But also, I've learned to not listen to what other people say as well. Get the
Exactly.
information yourself.
Yeah.
Go and find that information for yourself so you can make a decision for yourself, because someone else is telling you something that somebody else may have told them.
Hmm.
So it's like you have to make sure that for you know what's going on.
And y'all don't let people tell y'all there's no value in the ghetto. Number
Right.
one, number one, they buying up all of them properties right up from under you, and they telling you that it's in the ghetto, making you think it's something bad. No, I was like, well, sir, if you don't want to live there, thank you very much for your time. And I kept
Right.
moving on. And guess what? Somebody bought it, and somebody bought it for what I was asking for. So,
Hmm. And
okay,
that's
so don't
the
let, go
and
ahead.
that's the real estate game, guys. You're supposed to buy low. You're supposed to buy as cheap as you can possibly get it. You understand? And sometimes it is in the hood. Sometimes it's not. But real estate is to buy low and sell higher. Period.
Why you think they all of those people going into the neighborhoods and they gentrifying them? You think they
Right.
looking at it like, oh yeah, it's in the hood? No, they're going in there, they're adding value, they're fixing the place up, and then they're selling it. And other people want to be mad, especially people in the black community, because I'm gonna have to call us out too. I have to call us
Yes.
out. Y'all be mad when other developers come in and they buy the block back when we should have been buying the block back.
Yep.
Okay, then you call it gentrification. Well, we need to gentrify our own stuff. We need to put
Yes.
money and value into our own communities and neighborhoods. And if we're
Yes.
not going to do it, then we really can't be complaining when other people see the value in our neighborhoods and then they buy it.
Exactly.
Well, that's
Exactly. And I know, Antoinette, you offer credit services as well. And that's
mm-hmm,
all a part of it as well, guys. Because, like she said, you can purchase real estate by using your credit. So
mm-hmm.
it all works together. It all ties together. We we are in these neighborhoods. We can afford these properties. We just have to get out there and get it. And it's like we sitting back and being looking and being a spectator instead of just participating in this. Get in it so
Up, you went out again.
it's just so you yeah, so you can be a part of the change, guys. Don't allow it to happen around you. You can be a part of it as well.
Exactly. So I'm gonna just sum up really quickly.
Yes.
We touched on a lot of things, guys. A lot of things. So if you missed some of this, I will be taking this recording and putting it on my YouTube. My YouTube is still new. Okay, so I'm just putting these systems in place for you guys. But I'm still building the YouTube because honestly, TikTok just kind of exploded for me. Like I want to say, like 3 months ago, I had 200 followers, and now and my husband's looking at me right now, but he's the one who told me to get on TikTok. Every
Right.
time I feel like, told your ass to get on TikTok, but you don't want to listen to me. So yeah, he told me to get on TikTok. I was like, no. Then he told me make a real estate post, and I was like, all right, And then it just like exploded.
Took
So
off.
never, you got this, you got that, and I'm like, hold on now,
I know.
pump your brakes.
Wait a minute. Give me a second.
let,
Let me
let,
gather
let,
myself together.
let me get my things in order. So, and I'm not gonna be out here like people wanted me to teach them, and honestly, I was like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I suffered from imposter syndrome. I was so like I felt like what I was doing wasn't big enough because I was around people that were doing bigger deals.
Right.
Again, your mindset is very important. I had to learn to
Yes.
not shrink myself, and what I'm doing has value, and my story has value. So really, that's how I kind of like. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys what I know. I'm gonna try to put something together. But again, these things, these processes, these classes, they take time, which is the
Yes.
reason why there is a charge for them. But we're not just teaching you like this ain't algebra, okay? You ain't finna learn this and then not do anything with the information. Like teach a man to fish, you'll be able to now jump out into the real estate market, and you will have the tools that you need to make great deals and create generational wealth for yourself and your family. So,
Right.
just to recap on some of the things that we touched on, Tiffany, this is at Miss Make It Happen. If you guys are not following her on TikTok, please follow her on TikTok. And then, what is your Instagram?
My Instagram is at Tiffany Tyuse, TiffanyTyuse.
Okay, and recap your services one more time.
Recap my services. Basically, guys, I offer 2 consultations. You can go to my Instagram and book a consultation with me. I also have an ebook that's coming out on November the 1st, and shortly thereafter, I will be providing a course. I basically I definitely deal with Georgia, but I also do other states as well. You just let me know what other states you're interested in, and I'll definitely offer my services.
Okay, guys. So if you're not already following her, make sure that you guys follow her. And just to recap on some of the things that we talked about, we basically just had a chit chat about
Hmm.
real estate and tax lien and tax deed investing. Stafford connection or collection. I will be posting this on my YouTube. So when I get that together, if you guys aren't already subscribed to the mailing list, just click the link in the bio. Go ahead and get on the mailing list because I'm gonna get that. I'm getting that together and sending out, the information as I have it for you guys. So you'll be able to get the notification when this playback is up. And hold on, I'm kind of scrolling through these comments, so just give me a second. That was the reason I reached out. So thank you guys for actually doing it. I'm glad we were able to provide some value to you today.
Yes.
Um, I have a lot of people just thanking us and saying that this was really great. So I'm glad. I'm super glad that we were able to provide you guys with value. If you guys are interested in learning more about tax deed investing and my exact strategy that I use, I am in Florida. Okay, so the strategies that I will be teaching will mainly be based in Florida. However, I do give you guys information on other states and other counties as well. But just know, my name is not Google. So some of the things that you will have to learn, you will have to learn them on the job. But I do try very hard to give you guys all of the information that you need from start to finish on how to analyze a deal, what resources are available to you to pull comps, okay, so how to figure out your max bid, some of the pitfalls that you should be looking out for if you are investing in land. And I do particularly focus on land because it's my niche. So, but you can also purchase homes through this strategy as well. You guys have to start with the end in
Correct.
mind. If you can't make it to the October 27th class, which is 7 to 9 p.m., October 27th, Eastern Standard Time, there is a playback available for purchase, and it's basically a class playback, and you can get all of the information there as well. Both links are in the bio, guys. So I hope that we gave you guys some value. This was
Yes.
really, really eye
Yes.
opening. We gotta do more of these, to be honest.
Yes. Right. Right. I agree.
And as we're getting into these other markets, because you're going to be coming to Florida, right? You're going to
Yes,
start
I
looking.
am. Yes.
I'm gonna be looking at Georgia, so y'all don't
Yes.
be afraid to network and just like ask questions. Like the harvest is plenty. Don't
Yes,
think
it
that you
is.
want to keep a, oh, I'm not gonna tell anybody about this because I don't want them to know about this particular strategy. Listen, you do not stop anybody's show. Anybody that's really serious about getting into real estate investing, you can keep your secret as long as you want to, but they still
Right.
probably gonna figure it out. So you might
Yep.
as well work together.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. So network, work together, ask questions, get informed, get educated. Please don't just jump out here and
Right.
be like, oh yeah, I want to tax lien invest, and then you be out here losing money because that's what we don't want. Okay, we want you to make money, not lose money.
Correct. Correct.
But on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. And again, thank you guys so much. Hi, Antonio. I didn't get to say hi to you tonight, but Antonio took my last class, and he's a great student, and he's gonna be
Right.
jumping into. He's already attending a bunch of auctions actually. So, and
Hmm.
don't be disappointed if you don't win your first couple of auctions. Understand that this is a very competitive
Market. Yep.
strategy. Yes,
Yep.
like real estate in general is mad competitive right now. And the same thing that's happening with homes is happening in the auctions, okay?
Yes.
They running it up. You can still get your foot in the door. You only need one. I
Yep.
keep telling myself this. You only need one property, right? And then once you get
Yep.
that one property, guess what? You only need one buyer, okay?
Yep.
So
Yep.
you gonna get a long way to go before you get that one yes, but you only need that one yes, and that one yes gonna be the bag, okay?
Yep.
Thank you, Pearl. I got my auntie wig on today. I got my auntie wig. Oh, and if you guys are interested in credit repair, business credit, or personal credit services, link is in my bio as well. So you can always DM me, shoot me an email, redlotuschick@gmail.com, and we will get back in contact with you. But thank you so much, guys, and you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you,
Thank you,
Tiffany,
lady.
today, and I'll send you this video as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And I enjoyed all of you.
Yeah. All right, guys, have a great night.